Over 2 decades since the Virtual Boy drained our piggy banks and gave us hideous migraines, Nintendo is leaping back onto that VR fun train with its latest Labo kit for the Switch console, and thankfully this time they've mostly got it right. Like previous Labo kits, the Nintendo Labo VR Kit allows you to construct various cardboard gadgets that the Switch screen and controllers then slot neatly inside of. Each gadget offers up a unique, imaginative and occasionally triple virtual reality experience, which the whole family can get involved with. The Nintendo Labo VR Kit launches April the 12th across the globe, including here in merry old England, and I've already had a play and built some of these funky cardboard creations, so here's my early impressions.
So what we have here is the full Nintendo Labo VR Kit. It will cost £70 here in the UK. It comes with all of the little accessory bits and of course full software, everything you need. So if you want the full VR Labo Kit experience, then this is the one to go for. First of all, box is very illustrative, as you can see there, shows you exactly what you get, what to expect. Bash it on open and oh my god, this is going to be so much cardboard. So of course you get the game itself, which contains all of the sort of main games and also I believe full instructions on how to actually get all set up and everything. Once again foiled by the fact that I bite my fingernails. Right, so we've finally got all that off, and of course I love these Switch game boxes as well, because even though they're relatively compact as far as game boxes go, certainly compared with the behemoths from back in the day, it just looks comical. Comical is the word, not comedical. When you prise it open, and of course you just got this tiny dinky little Switch cartridge in it. Love it. Okay, so we have of course the VR kit, the full set. Let's select that bad boy. Oh yeah, funky music. So as it wisely suggests, let's start with make, as it is all part of course of the process of the fun, I guess. This is a really nice idea, actually, incorporating the instructions into the actual Switch game itself. And it looks like it's kind of video style instructions where you can just flip through at your own rate, which is good to see. And you can't go back at any point as well if you screw up, which is always a bonus. So this is obviously something very simple, just a little cardboard controller to actually hold one of the Joy-Cons. So that'll be part A, I'm assuming. Take care not to bend it or anything. Good advice there, thanks Nintendo. And then just remove this one piece. So as you can see, it's very in-depth instructions. Should guide you one little bit at a time and hopefully be easier to put together than IKEA furniture, that's for sure. Okay, try flipping it over and you got various bits. So there we go, I've built my first bit of Labo VR Kit infrastructure. It's the Joy-Con holder. That took all of about a minute, so I'm guessing it gets slightly more complicated. Right, so now we're on to the good stuff, the actual proper VR goggles, which you'll need for all of the games. First off, actually, after just muting the Switch, and that's now slightly annoying music, let's just check out exactly what you do get in the box. You should get everything in here that you need in order to construct everything for the Switch VR Labo stuff, basically. So in here, obviously, will be the actual specs themselves. So there you go. So there's the main bit of the goggles, which will then, of course, be stuck away inside a cardboard housing. You get a bag full of rubber bands and all these little plasticky bits. Those are used in the various accessories. So you don't need to supply any elastic bands or glue or scissors or anything like that. It's all just basically a case of just punching it all out of the various bits of card and slotting it all together. Tab A into slot B and all of that good stuff. Thankfully, they are all quite clearly labelled so you know exactly which sheet of cardboard does what. And they've even got a little logo to tell you which accessory you're busy building. So this is obviously part of the camera accessory. This is the elephant accessory. It's got several parts, 4 sheets in all. The bird accessory is one of the more complicated ones. That comes in 5 different parts. And then my personal favorite, the blaster, which goes all the way up to H, so that's 8 different parts. And then there's more, there's I as well. Oh god, 9 different parts. And I've been reliably informed that that is the most difficult of the accessories, which is a shame because it's also the best. And it does apparently take around 3 hours or so to construct in total. Thankfully, the actual VR goggles look pretty straightforward. We just got 2 sections for that, A and B. So let's get started with the instructions and see exactly what we got to do. Oh, there you go. That's how you do it, apparently. Nice and easy. Let's go through that a bit more slowly to actually stand a chance. Oops, I've already opened the box, so sorry about that. Let's just put that over there. Okay, important warnings. Don't go staring at the sun using magnifying goggles. That's not a good idea. You'll burn your brain out. So first up, we apparently need this bit here. Punch out all these little flappy bits. God, I'm going to have a million of these just littered all over the floor. That's going to be awesome. The wife's going to love that. As this is Nintendo, of course, the instructions are rather cute, as you would kind of expect. Oh, I kind of have done that as well, never mind. Can I just say, it definitely is worth following the instructions to the letter as well, because I've just gone ahead and just started sticking stickers, these spongy stickers, onto the cardboard without realising that there were different sized ones. You've got to do them in a specific order, so I've immediately had to peel those ones off, and yeah, thankfully managed to get it sorted out. But definitely follow the instructions closely, because yeah, I'm just getting a bit carried away, a bit too bold, and went and ballsed it up. So this here is the console slot apparently, so just gonna slide it on in and out, as it says in the instructions. So I've just got to slide on in the nose guard, which I've just put together in thankfully just 30 seconds. That was nice and simple. And then we've got the actual bit that holds the switch. And then this all just slides on forwards like so. And there we go. I think that is our VR goggles hopefully completed. But no, just when you think you're finished, we still have to make this safety cap. And there we have it, the VR goggles are done. So that took about half an hour from start to finish using the actual instruction guidance. In fact, here is a rough estimation right here of how long each of these different accessories will take to build. So as you can see, VR goggles, 30 to 60 minutes. So I managed to bring it in at around the 30-minute mark. The camera, again, 30 to 60 minutes. Then once you start getting onto the likes of the elephant, the bird, and then the blaster, you're really ramping up in terms of difficulty. And you do have a good selection of games to play, which some of them use very specific accessories. And the good news is I've actually had an extensive hands-on review with all of the accessories before I got the official box to unbox for you fine people. So I have played with all the games. I'm going to show you some footage and go to my hands-on impressions, should I say face-on impressions right now.
So the standard creation here is a straightforward set of VR goggles, similar to Google Cardboard, except a bit bigger. Just slip the switch screen inside and boom, it's now a virtual reality headset. Using this gizmo, you can have a play with the VR Plaza, which is basically a collection of 64 minigames. These will typically hold your attention for a couple of minutes. They're pretty good fun just for a quick blast and a solid introduction to what VR can really do. And then you've got the cardboard creations. Our favourite is definitely the Toy-Con Blaster, which is used for the imaginatively titled Blaster game. This is basically your typical on-rail shooter, which involves blowing cartoon alien buggers to bits. The pump action motion is pretty sweet, although you will have to try not to get too carried away. This is just cardboard after all. You can stop time by flipping a side switch if you're getting swamped, and there are massive bosses to take down after you deal with the many waves of brainless grunts. If that's all a bit too violent for you, then maybe try Kablaster instead, where instead of shooting space skits in the face, you hurl fruit at greedy hippos to get them to be your friend. This is a multiplayer game and it's pretty good fun, although sadly you can't play simultaneously with your rival. You'll have to pass the blaster back and forth and take it in turns to seduce those hippos. Next up is the Toy-Con camera attachment, which has you snapping photos in a couple of different virtual environments. The ocean camera game tasks you with papping a bunch of aquatic creatures as they're basically knocking about minding their own business. The ocean is full of surprises, says the Nintendo blurb, rather ominously. Does that mean that the game ends when an irate shark bites you in two? Well, that would kind of spoil the surprise. And once you're done with all that, there's also the house camera game. And sure, this sounds like possibly the most boring title of 2019 until you realise that said house belongs to that Tamagotchi thing from the Labo VR Kit. This thing's actually pretty cute and I quite like him, mostly because he's a furry version of me. He loves stuffing his face with food and scratching himself in intimate places even when someone is watching. Next up is the Toy-Con wind pedal, which is like a cardboard version of those foot pedals you get on some arcade games. And this allows you to play Nintendo's Hop Dodge title. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a frog? You haven't? Well, Hop Dodge is still worth a blast anyway. Basically, you have to hop and dodge, as the name kind of suggests, and the pedal makes the experience all the more realistic by guffing air in your face as you bounce about the place. Lush. Now this is where things start to get a bit more surreal. If you want to look like you're attempting to forcibly insert your face into the back end of a bird, then good news, the Nintendo Labo VR Kit has you covered. With the Toy-Con bird, you can take to the virtual skies, flapping your wings by pushing down on those side panels and aiming about the place with your face. The aim is to snatch up cute animals to feed to your ravenous offspring, Grim. And you can use that wind pedal to boost your speed and of course get another blast of air right in your mug. Even better though is the checkpoint race game, which is great fun and definitely reminiscent of titles like Star Fox. We love it. Last up is the Toy-Con elephant, which is pretty self-explanatory. We're not really sure why it's an elephant mask though, because this one basically allows you to play a VR marble game that has nothing at all to do with pachyderms. This one is a 3D take on the old Incredible Machines game, where you have to guide a marble to the checkpoint using all manner of gadgetry. And if you're done with that, you can also do a bit of doodling using that trunk if you fancy a change of pace. Now the Nintendo Labo VR Kit will launch with two possible options. There's the complete Nintendo Labo VR Kit, which costs 70 quid, and that includes the software and all the materials you need to buy all of the Toy-Cons. Alternatively, if you're a bit skint, you can get the starter set instead for 35 quid, half the price. And that includes the software and everything you need to build the VR goggles and the Toy-Con blaster. Now so far, I'm actually quite enjoying the Nintendo Labo VR. It'll definitely be a great option for any families who want to just kick back on a rainy Sunday afternoon and do something a bit different. It's also a great introduction to virtual reality for the nippers as well. And there's plenty of potential here as well. So for instance, Nintendo has already revealed that two of the Switch's most beloved titles, Super Mario Odyssey and Zelda Breath of the Wild, are getting VR support. These updates should be coming towards the end of April, and in the case of Zelda, allows you to play the entire game with the Labo if so desired, looking around to control that camera. With Mario, it doesn't look like the entire game will support Labo. Unfortunately, it looks like we'll get 3 small mini games to begin with to play through in VR mode. However, there's always room for expansion there. My only real issue with the Labo VR is the fact that the Switch's screen and performance is quite basic compared with the likes of the PSVR and the Vive. A measly 720 by 640 pixel resolution per eye means you do get fairly blocky visuals, while the 30 frames per second frame rate isn't exactly silky smooth. All the same, this is a highly entertaining experience, absolutely fine for the kiddywinks, and we definitely can't wait to see what Nintendo comes up with next. So that in a nutshell is the Nintendo Labo VR. Definitely be great to hear your thoughts down below, especially if there are any Switch titles in particular you'd love to see get VR support. And don't forget, for more on the latest greatest tech, to subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers everyone, love you!